This is the Handshake Agency Podcast.
Welcome you guys into the green room. Dexter and Noodles. Hello, the Offspring.
Hello.
Hey, Neil, how's it going?
Good, guys. How are you going?
Great.
Doing good.
I mean, all things considered.
Yeah,
A qualified great.
haven't played a show in over a year, but, other than that.
Where are you guys right now? Is this a virtual background or is that the actual studio you're in right now?
This is our studio here in Huntington Beach, California. This is where the magic happens, and as well as a lot of heartbreak.
Yes, where the heartbreak happens.
Yeah. How are you guys doing? Obviously, right now, there seems to be some sort of light at the end of this fucking COVID tunnel. At least now I know. Like I've had a couple of guests on from LA, particularly the last week. It seems vaccinations are starting to roll out properly now, right?
Yeah, we haven't got them yet because we're much too young. We're nowhere near qualifying yet, and
we can't.
Yeah, but I got my dad vaccinated, and I know more and more people are getting vaccinated. A friend of ours actually hit me up last night and says, "Dude, I have the hookup. If you need vaccination."
Really?
Yeah. I bet you can guess who it is. A friend of ours, but I won't say who he is because he's in a band.
Wait, are they already like off the market vaccinations?
That's what it was. It was like, if I had
a drug dealer.
If I belonged to a certain HMO, he could do it all legit. Otherwise, I had to make up a name and address.
Oh, really?
And I don't want to do that. First of all, I want to have like my card saying, because I'm going to travel. I want to come to Australia someday, and I know I'm going to have proof, documentation that I got my vaccination. And
it's like a drug dealer, right? What you need, man? We got Moderna.
Totally, it was like that.
We got Johnson & Johnson. We got Pfizer. Yeah. What you want?
It's I feel like you guys are the only band who are like actually doing a proper PSA for it, because if you haven't seen, check out the Offspring's Instagram. You guys have done come out and play, but go get vaccinated. Who was the wise guy who came up with this?
Him. Well, we just thought it was funny, I mean, we've been kind of
really well. Right?
Yeah, we've been kind of riffing on that whole thing. Of course, you got to keep us separated. The social distancing and all that. So we've been kind of riffing on that. Got for a year, and finally we decided to do something, and so that's actually Blackball, the Keep 'Em Separated guy, singing that. Yeah, you got to get your.
We did it. We put it in the track and put it out, and it just seemed like the right sentiment. It wasn't us trying to preach or tell people how they should think or what they should do, but just the idea that, hey, we just like to go out and play some shows, and people are dying to get out in general, but it's not going to happen until we get our shots.
But of course, people wanted to school us, including him, the guy with a PhD in molecular biology who specializes in virology. They want to school us because they've heard this thing from their weird corner of the internet that totally makes sense to them, and we're gonna stick with what science tells us.
Yeah, I like the chips in the vaccine. That's a good one.
The chips. Oh yeah, the 5G. Yeah, 5G chip.
They're saying they don't want to take the vaccine because they think there's a chip in it, and the government's gonna track them, right?
Right.
And so I say, what about that phone in your hand?
Phone in your hand, exactly. They're typing this in the phone that goes everywhere with them.
By the way, you pay every month.
It knows the porn, knows their porn fetishes. It documents that.
Not if you put the private setting on, Noodles. If you put the private setting on, no one can see you, apparently. God, I hope so. Dexter, you should know this better than me, because wasn't it one person, maybe it was in the UK, maybe it was in the US, that actually got ill from the vaccination, but that was because they had like 4 shots.
I mean, I've heard of a blood clotting issue with the AstraZeneca issue, but
I think even that was kind of misdiagnosed or misreported.
I thought there's been about 40 cases, but they were all women and they're all under a certain age. It was a very specific group and stuff. And so it's good. I mean, I get it. They stopped, they halted for a minute, they looked at it, and ultimately you got to weigh the risks versus the rewards, right? And with any vaccine, there's a risk that from a number of different things. It can be an autoimmune reaction or whatever, that things can happen. But thankfully, it's usually very rare. It appears to be rare in the case of all these vaccines.
At least the people you're dealing with and talking to, is everyone on board for the vaccinations? No one's one of the conspiracy theorists?
I was shocked on our own Instagram. There was a ton of people that were very, very anti.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a thing in the U.S., probably everywhere as well.
Yeah. Well, this is a nice segue into my next question, because Noodles, it was mentioned before this interview, you and I spoke for the debut Good Things Festival in 2018, which just feels like fucking 20 years ago at this point.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot. And on the other hand, though, that was some of the most recent shows we've done, so it doesn't seem that long ago. On the other hand, because we haven't done any shows in a year now. So those have been some of the most recent in my memory. Yeah,
well, we did the interview. I think we did something with you guys before Good Things, just when the festival was announced in like August, and then I spoke to you again at the festival. And at that time, again, this is August 2018, and you had said then, like, you guys had written a bunch of songs. You have enough to make an album. You have enough to make 2 albums. Fast forward to now with the album due out next month. Were these songs, are they still what they are today, or did you guys go back to the drawing board and start again?
Yeah, we kept recording through that. In fact, a lot of this record was probably written after that moment, or around or after that moment, right?
So
we have about half another record's worth of songs finished or close to finished. And then we have other stuff that we could revisit and maybe make something out of, or maybe just move on. We had a really creative period right up until, well, even during the pandemic. We last couple of years have been real creative for us. So
it's nice seeing you guys in the same room together. When was the first time you guys got to be able to physically see each other past this COVID period?
4 or 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty confident that we're okay in here. But we did do a lot of recording in here. We tried to socially distance. We did some recording with we recorded a cover for a song from the Tiger King documentary. We did Your Kitty Kitty. And yes. Pete did his drums remotely from Nashville, and sent it out. We sent him, the basic tracks the rough mix, and then he put drums on them and
did it that way.
Did a lot of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, thinking back to that 2018 period where we're talking about new Offspring music, that sounds so exciting. Now, 3 years later, how are you guys feeling with a couple of weeks out from the album release? Let the Bad Times Roll single has been out for a few weeks. How does it feel just to finally get new fucking music out there?
Feels great. I mean, yeah, that's you when you're making music, it's kind of obsessive compulsive. Every little note you can pick apart. You really can get into the weeds with some of this stuff. Then you have to kind of set it aside, set it down, and like go walk away, go walk through a park, go take a vacation, then come back and revisit it. But you think you have something good finally when you look at it all and you think, okay, this is done. Now we got to get it to the fans. But the fans haven't heard it yet. That's like the skit kind of, you're kind of like, oh shit, now we're out on the ice. Is the ice going to hold us, or are we going to fall through?
Right.
That's kind of where we're at right now. We've had the one song out, and so far the feedback has been great, on the single, but until the whole record gets out, we're still kind of a little bit, how's the ice holding up? How are we doing out here on the ice?
I've had to ask this question to almost every band in the last 12 months, just because of everyone's got a different situation and story. When COVID really started to be a very serious and real thing, and people realized, oh, it's not just a fucking flu, what point did you guys have the conversation of, oh, okay, we might not be able to release an album this year and we might not be able to tour for however long? When did you guys get in a room and say, we could be in trouble here?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this whole thing happened, as everyone remembers, in March. We were actually in South America on tour, and it was sort of falling apart around us. We ended up playing one show and scrambling to catch some of the last planes back to Los Angeles. And at that point, we were planning on releasing a single, I think in May, with the album a few months after that. Yeah. And just decided this does not feel like the right time to be putting out a record. And so we spent the rest of the year kind of going back in the studio and just kind of tweaking them. And in retrospect, it actually made the songs all a lot better. I'm glad for that part of it. Glad that we had the time. So then here we are now. We're sitting on it. We're done. It's been a year. And it's like, well, now what do we do? Yeah. Do we wait another year or wait for an indefinite amount of time? So we decided to do it. So I know when you look at it, it's like, okay, we haven't put out a record in 9 years. Let's put it out. Let's wait till we have a nice pandemic to put it out in. That would be perfect. So it doesn't sound like the optimal time, but I believe the record's timely because we're talking about things that are going on right now, and it just felt like the right time to put it out, believe it or not.
How is the atmosphere in California? Obviously, again, and I've asked this to a couple of other LA-based people. Take out the pandemic, you guys just had a very controversial election period, protests. How has the vibe been in America and LA specifically?
Oh, we hate each other. Everybody here hates each other. Most of the time when you're, day to day, I mean, you see all these videos of people getting in each other's faces, but for the most part, everyone's dealing with each other normally. There are more and more episodes of extreme behavior. You're seeing it, but a lot of that happens, I think, mostly on the internet and in the media and stuff. I think one-on-one, I have family and friends who are diametrically opposed to me politically, but I get together get along with them fine, face to face. We all kind of put everything aside. I'm sure people are going to work with the people like that, and same thing, But it seems like in the media and on Facebook and on Twitter and stuff, everyone's just calling each other idiots. I'm as bad as anyone else when it comes to that on Twitter, for sure.
I mean, you're seeing people getting arrested for not wearing masks. I mean, it's gnarly out there.
But have you seen it? I haven't seen it online. Have you seen that actually happen?
I was on a plane last week, and I'm getting bitched out by the flight attendant for taking a drink of water with a bottle in my hand, and she's like, "Put your mask back on."
You move the mask to have a drink and then put it back on?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she was so all over it. So I think he's gnarly. I mean, like a couple records ago, we wrote a song called "Shit Is Fucked Up," and we thought that shit was fucked up then, but taking to now, it's just it's exponential.
But I think a lot of that is just because of the pandemic and the stress, and on top of that, I think the pandemic's probably had the majority of the stress. People don't know, shit, are they going to be able to work? They're going to be able to do, they're going to be able to get enough toilet paper to make it through the week. There's been a lot of stresses that has added. Everyone's kind of been alienated from each other. That's added a lot. And then add all the political stuff and, different social unrest. And
It's so fucked up that the toilet paper thing is a global problem. This is massive in Australia as well. When the outbreak happened, you could not get toilet paper anywhere. And hearing that it's the exact same in the US, what is it? Why toilet paper? Why not like corn and beans?
Yeah, what the fuck? I do not get this. I don't get it at all.
It's really strange.
Yeah.
You know what's really shit?
What are people doing with toilet paper?
But that's my point. If the idea is that they're bunkered down, okay, great, you're set for toilet paper. What are you going to eat?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
No idea.
Personally, I did not hoard toilet paper.
We had a hard time just keeping it, keeping the rolls full.
I went down to one sheet. That's what I did. One square. That's it.
Rationing.
Yes.
It sucks to even think about that because correct me if I'm wrong. I think you guys were meant to tour Australia with Sum 41 in like April or May, right?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, that sucked. I hate when we would see that on the calendar, deleted. Like, it's just a bummer.
We're really looking forward to that tour.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly it's just been postponed.
I think we're in talks to make it happen again now that things are starting to get back to normal, at least in terms of the pandemic. At least we can set that aside soon. I think we're all pretty confident that that's going to happen, with the vaccinations and stopping the spread of that.
Well, if Australia ever lets us back in, we just spoke to a journalist who said 0 cases in Australia.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Zig, can you vouch for that? Are we going 0? Yes, he's nodding his head. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we're
in a position where, like, I'm in Sydney, so if New South Wales, for example, got up to, I think we had a cluster in like late December, and we got up to like 30, and it was genuinely like panic stations were going on a lockdown again. But I saw a tweet earlier this month from someone in LA, and they're like, we only had 2,000 today. Like, open us up. So it's much different.
Yeah. The U.S. has about 40,000 cases a day, I think, right now.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's crazy
right now.
It's just so different.
Do you guys?
I wouldn't let us in either. If I were you guys, I wouldn't let us in.
Yeah. We can't be trusted. We cannot be trusted.
You could get in right now. There's all you have to do is apply for it. I know, like, there are a couple of comedians that are touring. One's already toured, another one's touring in a couple of weeks. You've just got to commit to quarantining before and after.
Quarantining in Australia would be a dream for me. I think I would love it.
Well, no, you can't leave your hotel room.
Yeah, VB.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that'd be all right. That'd be all right.
Do your plans like come off pause once this is over, or do you very much start again? Like, I know you guys have some shows planned for December in the UK, which right now seems like a bold move, but surely come December, we're going to be in a better position. Surely.
I mean, that's our, our fingers are crossed, and we're right now we're going with the best advice that we have in terms of, the virus and what it's going to do and how the vaccinations are going to work. But we're hopeful that eventually this will be behind us, and we're going to slowly start ramping up. I don't think it's just turn the switch on and off. I don't think it works like that. I think it is a slowly, ramping up and getting used. Even if we're going out and playing to, venues that are 50 or 75% full, I think that's a start.
I mean, our venues are usually less than 50% full anyway, so
that's not.
Yeah.
There was 25,000 people at Good Things, and you were the headline set. So, congratulations, number one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Do you guys remember much from that tour? Because that was memorable for a number of reasons. One, obviously, that was the very first Good Things festival. Two, Tony from No Doubt was playing with you guys on that trip. And was it in Adelaide that like there was a major electrical issue? And did someone always die?
I remember the power going out. Or PA went out.
So no one was in danger?
Not that I remember.
Yeah, I don't remember anyone being in danger there.
Is that the tour we did Smash?
Yes.
No, it was. Okay.
We did Smash all the way through? I don't remember that.
We did, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
That was,
like I said, I just don't remember what the set list was.
That was a lot of brain cells ago.
Yeah. I was drinking
great.
a lot then, and I was drinking a lot during the pandemic too.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was fun having Tony out with us. That added a different element to what we wthat doing. We did Australia, and then we also did Japan with him a couple months later, or before, or a couple months later. Yeah, that was a fun show. And was it Stone Sour was on with us? We got to know all those guys.
Right.
Stone Sour, The Used, Baby Metal were there.
Dropkick Murphys were out. So yeah, a lot of great bands, and just a lot of camaraderie. Really, really kind of just good feeling throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. Going back to Let the Bad Times Roll, I was listening to the second or third time today, and it kind of reminds me of like that vintage Offspring sound, but just perfectly modernized. And it is the first album in what, 10 years now. Where do you guys, obviously it's not out yet, but where do you think it'll sit in the Offspring catalog? Is it one of the ones that you want the Offspring fans to, this is one of the albums you need to hear to understand this band?
For sure. Absolutely.
You always want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've been hearing comments kind of like yours. This sounds like, they're saying it sounds like classic Offspring, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And I know that we purposely did want to go back to a simpler, not a simpler, I don't know, a more straightforward kind of sound.
Yeah. We knew that it had been a while. It only 9 years, not 10 years. Come on.
Yeah.
Almost 10 years.
Okay.
Almost. Okay.
I say only 9. Yeah.
Half empty, half full.
Yeah, but we knew it had been a while, and we knew that when we come back out, we want people to know that we are still the Offspring, which isn't hard for us to do. I think we always, there's a certain kind of music that we love making, that we
gravitate to.
That made us want to be in a band in the first place. So we keep always coming back to that, at least on some form of the record. We just wanted to make sure we didn't do too many songs on this record that are different, from left field. Having said that, we have a song, it's gone away. It's an old Offspring song that we do almost entirely on piano, just piano and vocals. We have another song that has horns in it, very horn driven. So we do, we always kind of experiment musically, try to apply what's really good about this band to other styles of music. But we still come back to that, kind of melodic but heavy, kind of punk based sound.
Yeah, that come to think of it, that piano version you guys did of Gone Away at Good Things was like my favorite moment of the set. I'm glad that's on this album.
Thank you. Yeah, we always felt it added a certain dynamic to the whole set whenever we played it. Really kind of brought it down, and then we'd bring it back up right after. It also adds a purity to that song. We weren't sure how it would go over. It was Dexter's idea. I want to try it with just piano and then maybe have the band come in at the end. And I remember being on the side of the stage and just kind of getting chills at how well that song worked. And, when you really just kind of strip it down and purify it.
The reaction was unexpected, for sure.
For sure.
I mean, if I can be overly critical for a second, there's not enough Redman on this. What was that all about?
Not enough Redman?
That's right.
Yeah, he was busy.
He was unavailable.
Yeah.
Do you know people still, like I was looking at like forums in the latest interview, people still like, is that Redman on Original Prankster?
Yeah.
Can we just confirm that then? Like I'm going to make a story out of this because people are like, I'm sure that's not Redman. But it definitely is.
No, it's Redman. Yeah. It's absolutely Redman. He came out and did it live with us on TRL too, I think, right?
He did.
Yeah. So if they don't believe, they can go check. I'm sure that's on the interweb somewhere of him doing it with us live.
And, we were recording in Atlanta and Redman was in New York, and he agreed to do it. And we needed to do it right away. So we said, look, we'll come to you, which is great. So we got Brendan and we got up really early, took a plane to New York and got there, and he wasn't there at the studio. Right. So they called him and he goes, oh, he just woke up. He'll be here in a minute. And it's like, I don't know, it's 1 o'clock. Half an hour later, they call him again. He's on the way. He's coming. Anyway, it took him a couple hours to get there. And you could tell he was still like shaking it off the night before, right? And it's like, hey, I'm going to go in there and just kind of get ready. I'll be ready in a second. And he went in there and rolled the most enormous spliff I've ever seen in my life, right? And went through about 3 or 4 of them, got completely baked. And then he's like, okay, man, let's go. Let's do it.
While you guys are just sitting there quietly drinking water, waiting.
Decaf tea.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we can confirm that finally. I'll make sure the internet knows. Jesus Christ.
He was great. By the way.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I love this album. I can't wait for people to hear it. And it was so good to talk to you again. Hopefully we see you in the country very soon. Again, if you want to quarantine, you're more than welcome. Australia will have you.
Yeah. Okay. Seriously, it's only a matter of time. We can't wait to get back.
Yeah.
Noodles, Dexter, thanks so much, guys. We'll talk soon.
Great talking with you.
Neil.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Griffiths is a podcast from the Handshake Agency Network, produced by Neil Griffiths, recorded and engineered by Zig Parker, executive producer Craig Treweek.